Hey friends, how you doing? It's Harrison. I'm on the beach today. I want to talk about what may be the only spiritual practice that you ever need. And I want to dive into it, but I want to start by saying that this podcast, this episode, are for you, a light worker, whatever that means to you. Someone here to shine their light so brightly that there is no other option but for the world to be changed for the better. And I know you resonate with that because you're here, and that's what this podcast is for. That's what this space is for. And so this episode is for that. It's for you, the light worker, going through this journey of learning how to shine your light, how to direct it, how to cultivate it. Through the ups and the downs, we've talked about a lot of downs recently and the challenges. But there are some through lines through these experiences where there's just an answer to everything at the end of the day, I think. I will say, who am I to know what the one spiritual practice is? And how could I possibly know at this point in my journey? I may never know. We may never know. But this is something that has kind of transformed the way I've been thinking about it recently. And it's this idea of pouring into yourself, seeing yourself as this star that needs to shine, and diving so deep into the depths of who you are, exploring it, healing it, learning who you are, and hyping yourself up with love and not ego, but to be the fullest possible version of yourself, to be fully expansive, full of light, that there is no choice but for anybody who crosses your path to be changed. And for a long time for me, I thought that it was a bad thing to prioritize yourself. And for me, in my mind, it was because it was egotistical. It was arrogant. I was being cocky if I was being too overconfident or anything like that. And there was a period of time in my life where I was putting on a mask of being extremely overconfident because there were things within me that I was covering, I was masking. And I think that's a relatable thing that a lot of people experience. We do that. We put on masks in different areas of our life. I think we do it with different people in different scenarios. But then the job becomes to remove the mask as much as we can, to get to our core essence, and to feel confident and strong in ourselves, not from a place of ego because I need to do it because I think I'm better, but from a place of everybody on this planet, every spiritual being, anything that has been created, which is literally everything, from source, consciousness, God, is meant to be the biggest version of itself, to take up the most space. So if that's true, then it's not an egotistical thing to do it if you are consciously aware of kind of keeping your ego in check and working through that. And there's a difference. It feels different. You ever come across somebody who, for lack of a better term, has like that star quality? There's just something about them. Like they know that they are worthy, that they are important, that they have something to offer. Sometimes that can be like too much, you know, depending on the situation. And sometimes that comes from a place of ego. And I would say for a lot of mainstream media celebrities, there's a lot of chasing it for the ego, I think. But every once in a while, you'll meet someone, maybe just in your life, who's not like a celebrity or anything like that, but they've got something. They're so reassured. Their foundation is so strong that you're just like, oh, I'm attracted to that. Not in a romantic way, but just like, I'm interested. You've got something to say. You know, I want to learn from you. I want to experience what life is like being around you. And that's what I'm trying to get at. I think that the spiritual practice that we need to master is being so confident and sure of ourselves, not because we've forced ourselves to feel that way or because we're trying to get something, but because we know that that is our true essence. And living that out 100% with no doubt. And I think that's how you change the world. There's this analogy that I came up with after seeing a visualization of gravity. If you've never seen it before, I'll put a link below and you should go check it out. It's a very short video. But if you're just listening or you haven't seen it, I will explain it. And it's this big ring with spandex over it. And so when it's stretched tight, it's completely flat. It's a physics demonstration, I believe. And they're talking about how this spandex, this flat surface represents space-time. And then he takes a marble, 2-3 inches, you know, decent-sized marble, and he puts it in the center. And it goes right into the middle. And he says, okay, now the spandex has been warped. It's bending. There's this mass in the middle that's making it stretch to sink. That mass is warping, is bending space-time. Cool. All right. Why are we talking about physics? Let me continue. Then he takes a smaller marble with less mass and puts it on the edge. And of course, that marble has no choice but to go towards the bigger one because that one has more mass and it's warping space-time in a more distinct, heavier way that little marble has no choice but to go to it. It's not that the little marble doesn't have its own mass, but the other one is warping everything around it to bring the little marble to it. This analogy is not about physics. This analogy is, in this day and age, there's a lot of people on the internet, in life, with this outward energy of I'm grabbing, I'm reaching, I'm gonna force myself to be this, like, have you ever watched a Mr. Beast video? It's exactly that. I'm gonna scream at you and capture your attention so you have no choice but to listen to me. But that energy is this, it's outward. You can see it when he's speaking. He's throwing it outward. There's this reaching energy. It works. For a lot of people, it works. But there's an opposite reality to attract things, to attract people, to attract attention, to attract change, where you are that heavy marble, and life, the universe, everything around you is that spandex space-time. If you are so grounded and reassured in who you are, and you are such a bright light, and you're like, I am here, I know I'm here, I don't really care or need other people to be around me or to know that I'm here, but I know that I'm here. I know who I am. I know the space I'm meant to take up. I am so strong in that. If you are, anybody that crosses in your path is that little marble. They have no choice but to be attracted to you. Attraction in the sense of, I am interested because there's something going on there I want to explore. I'm feeling energetically pulled in that direction. And so for many years, I've been thinking about this and using this analogy in my mind to remind myself, my job is not to be forceful, is not to reach, which is hard because a lot of the way society, especially advertising, you talk about advertising, marketing, you know what I mean? I'm making a video right now, right? Part of that is getting people to see it, if I want people to see it. And with that comes this feeling that's been indoctrinated into us that you need to reach for it. But I think the opposite is so much more true. If you are so grounded, like if you make something, a video for example, you make art that is so good, is so deep, it is so resonant and coherent, and anybody that walks by it or sees it is like, holy, I want to watch that. That spirals into what we would call virality, simply because it's good. The quality is so good. It's so great that does the work for it. It doesn't need to put up posters that say, come see me in the museum. People are talking about it and they're like, I'm going to go see this painting or whatever it is because it's so great. You are that. You are that piece of art. You are that energetic source. You are that star. Whatever you want to call it, you have that within you. And I can say that because we all have it within us. Every single person has it within us. So in a world where there is so much outward energy and you're being encouraged on a daily basis to put that energy out in that way, to reach, try to like fish in the ocean and bring things towards you. I think as someone on the path that you're on, here to change the world by shining your light, your job is not to reach. Our job is not to reach. Our job is to ground so deeply, pour into ourselves so deeply, become the biggest, most whole version of yourself that people have no choice but to be changed by being in your presence. And I'm not saying that this will go to your head or should go to your head. It's not about that. This is about living from your heart. When you meet these people that truly change your life by being in their presence, they're living from their heart. They're not trying to put on a persona or facade to reel you in, using their mind. That's a different energy. You feel it. It's different. You're living from your heart. And because we can feel the frequencies of people, of what they're transmitting, I don't remember the exact stat or research paper, but there is a study that has been done that I saw a long time ago that you can measure the transmission, the energy signal of the human heart, I believe up to like 10 feet away. I don't know how many feet it is, but it's a significant amount of distance. It's more than like, a foot around you. We can feel the energetic field of the coherence of somebody's heart. And I think the reason I avoided thinking like this for a long time is because I really don't want people to think that I'm arrogant. I don't want people to think I'm self-absorbed. I don't want people to think that I'm overconfident and cocky because at my core, I'm not that person. And so I don't want to portray that. I don't want to be misunderstood. But I've recently had the privilege of being around people who have that kind of quality about them. And it comes from that coherence in their heart. And it does not come across arrogant. It does not come across cocky. It does not come across forceful. It's a different feeling. And it's one that is so transformative to be around. And that's why I think one of the most important spiritual practices we can do on a daily basis is pour into ourselves. Fill your cup so much that it's overflowing, and then it has no choice but to go into others, to fill others' cups. So I guess the follow-up question to this is, then what is the way you do that? How do you do that? And I don't have an answer for that, because I think you know how to do that. You know the things that make you feel good. You know the wounds that you need to heal and work through. You know the things you need to address that you've been avoiding. And if you don't know where to start with that, as I always say, meditation, sit in silence. Allow the thinking mind to release the thoughts. Start using the mind as a tool when you need to, but not allowing it to run your life. I heard a quote recently, a very old quote. I'm going to probably mess it up. I will put it in the description as well. I don't remember who it's from. I'm sorry. I don't remember these things. But the quote is, the longest distance a man will ever travel is the 18 inches from his head to his heart. And it's so true. It's so true. So as for the how, it's start with that. Start with the meditation. Start with all the practices, all the things that you're probably aware of. But pour into yourself and be okay with pouring into yourself. Give yourself what you need to be, as I've talked about in the past, your biggest, brightest, most beautiful self every day. Repeat those affirmations. Put them on the mirror. Say them over and over again until you have no choice but to believe it, but to remember it, because that's all you can think about. That's all you feel. Remove the things that are incoherent, the things that are keeping you from being a coherent being, the things that are not aligned with who you're meant to be, who your essence is, what you are. Remove those things and pour your energy, your time into the things that allow you to be coherent. You get to that state, which I'm really working on trying to get to. And it's a challenging journey, as this whole journey is. But there's this beautiful thing that starts to happen where you stop caring a little bit more about what people think. It doesn't really matter, because you are so strong in your foundation. You start feeling a little more inspired and encouraged by yourself, not external sources. Because you know you have it within. You know you have the universe within. You are the universe experiencing itself. I have an interesting story to tell, because at the time this really bothered me. And now I have the perspective to see it, and I think that that's really cool because it shows growth. But in grade 12, at the age of 18, there was somebody else that got valedictorian. It was between me and him, I believe. And I was so bummed that I didn't get it, because I thought I deserved it so much. And I felt like absolutely ripped off by my classmates and the student body that voted for him. And the start of his valedictorian speech was, "I am the center of the universe." And I heard that and I went, who are you to say I'm the center of the universe? How arrogant are you to say that and make your speech about how you're the center of the universe? What I can now see was that I was so wrong. And he was onto something, because he was consuming spiritual texts, I believe, at the time. And he was talking about how you are the center of the universe, because everything comes from you, everything is you, because you are God. Not because you're better than everybody, not because it makes you feel like you've got a leg up on life, because you are creation, and you have been created, and so you are the universe. You are the center of the universe. And I'm at the point now, 8 years later, where I can say, he was right. And I'm telling you today, for one of the first times in my life, that you are the center of the universe. I am the center of the universe. And I don't feel bad saying that, because I'm not saying it to be arrogant. I'm not saying it to say, I'm better than you. I'm the center of the universe. I'm so much more important than you. No. I'm the center of the universe. You're the center of the universe. Your mom, your friend, your partner, they are all the center of the universe. We all are. And if we all pour into ourselves, knowing that, allowing ourselves to be the universe at its full capacity, with no limits, full expansiveness, taking up the space we need to take, energetically, physically, in all ways, that's how the world changes. Imagine a world where the 8 billion people on this planet are taking up that space, not from a place of ego because they're trying to be better than other people, but because they know that they are meant to take up space, because we all are, and there's enough space for all of us. And everybody is pouring into themselves and is the biggest, brightest, most beautiful version of themselves. Imagine that world. That's a world where we don't even need leadership, because there's no leader. We are all the same. We are all one. Why would you need somebody to govern? If everybody lived from a state of 100% coherence, I think the majority of the problems in the world would be gone. And so with that reflection comes the encouragement to remind you that as a light worker, as someone trying to shine your light, as someone that feels that their mission here on planet Earth is to lead humanity towards a better future, in whatever way it is that you feel. It could be, I'm going to fix big government issues or reforest the Amazon, like whatever it is. Or it could be as simple as, I'm going to make one person smile every day. Whatever part of the scale you fall on, it doesn't matter because it's all the same. I think the way to do it is to spend the time pouring into yourself. I think that's it. Now talk to me again in a week and I might have an entirely different idea. But this week, that is the thought. Because I had some experiences, I had some conversations, and I was like, oh, it's simple. It's just that. I want to take care of myself so much that other people have no choice but to change around me. And I'm not doing it to make other people change. I'm doing it because I need to be in a coherent space to be able to even change the world. It starts with that. It starts within because you are the universe. Anyway, I just wish 18-year-old Harrison could watch this and he would be like, what are you talking about? You are crazy, dude. I think he would see the truth in it, but I also think he would be pretty resistant. So if you're feeling a little resistant to this, just know that there may be a point in time in the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years that you could come back to this and you might view this differently because I am viewing this experience differently than I would have at any other point in my life. But my takeaway this week for you is that it's totally okay and important to take up space and to have so much confidence and coherence that you have no choice but to change the world by existing. The thing that comes with this is like, I think a lot of the time it feels like change, it feels like guiding people, it feels like changing your own life even. It has to be forceful, it has to be effortful, it has to be hard. There's this quote that I also heard, which I know correctly because I look at it every morning when I wake up. I have it on my bedside table, and before I get out of bed, I saw somebody on Instagram and she was like, do this before you get out of bed. Ask the universe, with your eyes closed or you're still kind of in that dreamy state, show me how easy and amazing this gets to be. That's it. I think there's a misconception that change and that growth and becoming the best version of yourself, creating a life that you love, has to be hard. It has to be a lot of work. And it has to feel exhausting and tiring. But the universe doesn't want it to be that way. Like source energy, when you experience it, when you return to the spiritual being that you are, it's so easeful. There's no effort because you've removed all of the distractions and all of the things blocking you from feeling that. And that's a state of coherence. That's what I'm talking about. And so allow it to be easy. Allow it to be fun. Ask. Show me how easy and amazing this gets to be. And like I said recently, don't be attached to the outcome. But just say, hey, I want this to be easy. I want this to be fun. Don't force yourself to make it forceful. I have done that a lot because I thought for a long time the grind set, you know? Throwback to the grind set, which I embodied, man. Holy. Around that time, I was like, yes, go to the gym at 6 a.m. every day. Ice bath. Being forceful is the way to get things, is the way to enjoy life, is the way to be successful, is the way. It's not. It's not. It's meant to be easy. Allow it to be easy. It's hard, but it's simple. Allow it to be easy. And part of that is letting yourself into this free fall of trust. Imagine yourself jumping out of a plane, 30, 50,000 feet, the edge of space, whatever that is, jumping out with no parachute, but no fear, because you know that you're never going to hit the ground. You're going to be caught. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know if there's a net that's going to catch you. Somebody's going to stop and grab you. You don't know if you're going to fall forever. But you know that you're never going to hit the ground. If you knew with 100% certainty, you would jump out of that plane and you would just enjoy the journey and the ease of falling. I think that's what you got to do with your own life. So those are my thoughts this week. I will be curious to come back to this in 8 years and see if I was right or if I have so much more perspective and more things to add and if I was totally wrong. But today, it's all I got for you. So that's what I am giving because you can only give what you got. You can only share as far as the road you've traveled, and this is how far I've traveled, at least in the last week. So I hope that's helpful a little bit. It's helpful for me, even just to share. So thanks for being here. I want to share a story about synchronicity because I love to do that every week here. And if you have one to share, again, please share. If you haven't received any by email, I don't know if you're scared, if people are scared, or if nobody's making it to the end of the episode, but if there's something holding you back from sharing, man, please do, because I think that these stories are so important. It's what inspires us to continue on this path when there is not a lot of evidence, physical evidence, maybe scientific evidence that a lot of people look for. But there's evidence, and it's these things, it's the synchronicities, it's the stories about magic happening in our lives. That's why I want to share it. So send one in, theintothelightpodcast@gmail.com. You know where to find it. You've been listening. Send me an email. It's all in the description. My story this week is 2 nights ago from when I'm recording this. I posted a video last week on YouTube, which I've been doing. If you haven't been watching the YouTube videos, go check them out. It's my little plug. And I posted it, and guys, it didn't get like many views. Okay, I think it had like 50 views. And I was so proud of it. I was like, I love this video. Like I'm feeling like I'm coming more to that state of coherence. And it hurts. As much as I don't want to, it hurts when people don't watch your stuff, you know? Because it feels like, am I doing something wrong? And so I got into this state, which I try really not to get into, but I just got into this cycle. You know what happens sometimes? And I was like, I feel like I've got something here. Like, I really feel like there's an essence of something, and I want to pursue it. And I think people want to see it too. And I feel like this is the thing I want to do. And, but what, am I wrong? Like, I must be wrong. If it's not working, like, I must be wrong. And so I laid on my bed as I was going to sleep, and I was like, asked for some guidance again. I said, hey, could you give me some guidance about making these videos? Because I feel like I should be doing it. I feel like I want to do it. I feel like I'm right, that there's something here, and if I stick with it, something will happen. But, man, the 50 views, like, it feels like a knife in the back today, you know? I didn't think much about it, and I went to sleep. And I woke up the next morning, and it would have been only a couple hours later, at about 5:30 in the morning, I had gotten a voice message from somebody I hadn't talked to in probably 2 months. Somebody I met here in Costa Rica. He's back traveling now. And this is a man like twice my age, by the way. He's like the same age as my father, which is very interesting, but we've kind of become friends. And he sent me this message out of the blue, and he's basically said, in summary, I watched your recent video, and it was so good. And you have such a knack for storytelling, and I love the uniqueness of the way you're telling this, and I've been watching them, and I just wanted to tell you that they're so good, like, you need to keep making them. Because I don't really see that much like it with what I'm viewing, and I really love it. He said all these beautiful, so, like, just incredibly kind things, and I was so complimentary. I was like, wow. First of all, thank you. But the biggest thing I couldn't get over was, like, literally 5 hours before, I was like, just please show me something. I need some kind of guidance. And just like that, the universe said, here, I'm going to give this guy some sort of nudge that makes him reach out to you, and he hasn't done in a few months, and tell you what you needed to hear. And it was exactly what I needed to hear. And it's like what happened with the podcast. Oh my gosh, what was that? A month ago, maybe? I was in the jungle, just over there, actually. I'm not recording in the jungle today because I went in there and there's so many mosquitoes. I was like, I can't do this. And so I'm here on the beach. Very grateful to be on the beach. Again, don't have to do it inside. And if you remember, if you were listening to that episode, I was recording that episode and saying, oh, I wonder if I should be doing this podcast. I kind of put out there, and this hummingbird flew by, like, instantly. And it was that moment I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to record this podcast and put it out every week, maybe forever, because of this moment. Because I know that there's a reason I'm being called to do it. I need to keep doing it. And that was like the confirmation. And this voice message I got the other day was my confirmation for the YouTube videos. Because I had this period of time, I was so close. I didn't want to, but I was like, maybe I should just stop trying to do this. Like, it's taking up a lot of time and energy, and, you know, I'm not making any money from it. My mind got involved, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. But my heart is like, I need to do it. It feels coherent. And I got that voice message, and it was like, there's your answer. So that's my story for today. Ask for things, guys. Ask for things with no expectation of what's going to come out of it. Just ask for the guidance. And for me, using the word guidance has been really helpful, because I'm not like saying, send a message, do this, like that puts I don't know, it needs to be a certain way in my mind, but the guidance, just say, hey, I need some guidance, please. And when you see it, I go, thank you. Like, I acknowledge, thank you. I acknowledge that was it. And it becomes this game. You know what I mean? It becomes this game. So I'll do it right here on this episode. I'd love some guidance for what I could make better about this podcast. That'd be cool. We'll see what happens. But I feel like this is one of the first episodes I've recorded that I feel like I'm in a state of coherence, at least at the end here, because I said I had this mask for a long time with a lot of things. If you knew me at 18, in high school, oh my gosh. Guys, I was so different. I'll put a picture up or like a little video so you can see like just unhinged craziness.
On from the Jack Daniels, onto the cup, into the last water one. Here we go.
I was almost voted life of the party in high school, and I never drank. I've never been drunk. I've never done drugs. I'm just saying that to say, like, I'm very straight arrow, you know? And so I was not altered by any substances, and I was the life of the party. It's very different than right now. That's still in me, I think, but that caused me to have this persona, this mask that I put on. I'm sure you can relate to that. And I feel like this is one of the first episodes. Not that it was all a mask before, but like I feel like I fully let my walls down. It feels nice. It feels nice. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this journey and for witnessing me with the love that you have. Put my walls down, and I hope by me doing it, it not only makes me feel better, but it makes you feel encouraged to do the same thing, because that's it. When you pour into yourself, when we let our walls down, when we move from a state of coherence, that's when the world changes, I think. If you enjoyed this episode, share it to somebody. Come back for more. I'll see you next week. I might put out a meditation sometime this week. Maybe you'll get a little extra bonus episode. I don't know. Keep your eyes peeled. I'll see you soon. Bye.